There's a phrase that Jesus used 40 times in the Gospels of Matthew, Mark, and Luke. We see him using the phrase Son of Man. And when I was a kid and growing up in the church, I was taught that he simply meant himself. He was referring to himself as the Son of Man. But scholars have puzzled over that term because it doesn't seem that Jesus is just referring to himself, because he often does use the word I to refer to himself. I say to you, for example, he would say. So he wasn't afraid of using the word I. So Son of Man is a little bit more mysterious. And in my own studies, I think it refers all the way back to the Hebrew myth of the Garden of Eden, because the word Son of Man in Hebrew is Ben Adam, Adam, son of Adam. So it goes back to the creation myth of the Hebrews, when Adam is, created out of the dust of the earth. God breathes his own breath into the dust and makes Adam a human, and then creates woman out of the rib taken from Adam's side. So to be son of man, son of Adam, is to be therefore son of God, because Adam is considered a son of God. So be son of Adam is son of God. You are of one nature with the divine. So when Jesus refers to Son of Man, he is referring to himself, but also to us, to you and me and all of humanity, men and women. He's referring to a quality within us, that quality of our connection, or our oneness, really, it's more than a connection, with the divine nature. And that's amazing when you think of it, that we are one with the divine. We are sons of the same nature, therefore sons and daughters of God, of whatever that means, the source of the universe. And therefore, there are four important expressions or conclusions that come out of the teachings of Jesus where he uses the Son of Man. And the first of them is the Son of Man has authority, that it's an authority that comes not from the ego, from just the small I, my own little personality, my conscious self, but from something larger within me, namely that connection, that oneness with the divine. And that gives me authority to make decisions about rules and dogmas, and see if they apply to me or not. So that inner authority to stand up for what is right and what we see as right and what we see as truth is that first aspect of how the Son of Man gets played out in our own lives. The second one is in terms of forgiveness. Jesus said the Son of Man can forgive. And he tells the paralytic man, the one who's paralyzed and set out on a pallet, lying down, paralyzed before him, he says to the man, "Take up your bed and walk." And people are surprised that he tells them this. But before he says that, he says, "Your sins are forgiven." So he's making an equivalence between picking up one's bed and walking and what forgiveness means. Forgiveness, in a sense, therefore means picking up whatever has paralyzed you in the past, whatever has held you down, whatever is holding you back, picking that up, moving with it, going forward anyway. It's that ability within us, coming from that connection that we have, that oneness we have with the divine nature, to move on despite whatever hurts have been done to us and whatever hurts we have done to others. Instead of ruminating on those and pushing them around in our mind and just keep thinking about them, we say to ourselves, I've got to lay this aside and move forward. I take this with me. I pick it up. I move forward. The third expression of Son of Man that's so important is what Jesus calls the Son of Man has nowhere to lay his head. And psychologically, what that means is that there's the Son of Man within us, that energy, that power, that authority, doesn't need to have outer security, the outer psychological security of rules and dogmas that help us to feel safe. Uh, there's that within us that moves beyond rules, that sees that at times those rules don't apply. The fourth way that the Son of Man expresses itself in our lives is the fact that the Son of Man, as Jesus said, suffers. Um, what does that mean? Well, if you stand up for what is right, if you stand up for truth, if you speak truth to power, if you move to forgive, if you move to break rules that don't seem to apply to you, then you suffer for that. The culture, the establishment can push against you. In Jesus' case, they took his life because of his standing up to the establishment. So that's why the Son of Man suffers. It's because you stand up against the establishment, it pushes back at you. So those are the four main ways that the Son of Man has to express itself in our lives. And I suggest to you, all of us that are listening here, to an exercise that we can do. When you're faced with a situation that is difficult for you to stand up to speak truth to forgive, or something that is calling you to look within yourself and see what is right for you, pause, close your eyes, go inward, and you can actually call forth, evoke this Son of Man energy in yourself to come up, to help you, to aid your ego in making the decision that is right for you in this moment.